goodness, I'm so excited to be here with you, Jackie. And those of you watching live and the replay, thank you so much for being here with us. Today is the first day of Taurus season. So I love how our chats really align with these really special times of the year, like more so seasonally. I feel like it definitely kind of grounds us in the earth energy and just the beauty and the magic of being here and the changing of the seasons and just the energetic shifts. I love it. So thanks for being here, Jackie.
Of course. I'm excited for our conversation today.
Yeah. So how are you feeling this morning? How are you feeling about this topic that we're going to discuss?
This
Yeah.
is this is something that I'm very passionate about, and like actually what drew us together too is having these conversations, but not in the way that is always like portrayed as what a starseed calling is. Like for one, I don't feel like there's a ton of information out there, but when we talk, like it's not about I'm feeling called to like escape and get me out of here. I'm in the wrong place. It's that's part of the shadow of it, right? And I think it's a very like sacred to me because my evolution sphere and gene keys, and those that know me, like gene keys is one of the my primary languages, something that I'm very passionate about in my own evolution process. But my evolution sphere, which is like your greatest challenge, is walking through the shadow of dislocation. And so like I'm literally walking through life in to stretch and evolve, I feel like I'm out of place. And
Mm.
so like that perfectly aligns with like the feeling of the starseed like calling of that is like I feel like I'm different. I don't fit in like in these spaces. And so like this is the deep connection that I have and the gift that opens up when you allow yourself to actually be in that space and create alchemy and actually sit with it versus actually trying to escape is going like why don't I feel I belong or whatever is to reorientate myself within, become my own anchor. And I feel like that is like the message for star seeds is we came into this world like to because we are different. Like we are here to change and shift and we are change makers, right? We are helping shift the frequency of that. And it's not and this is just coming to me because I hear this narrative a lot of the times in the starseed community is the chosen ones and like, oh, I'm not special enough. I might not be a starseed and all this like disempowering narrative. For me personally, I feel like we all have that essence within us. Like we are all star seeds at the core, whether we identify with it or not. Like I feel sometimes there's a stronger, and why we could say a star seed calling is we all have that essence, but some of us are called, it's like this mission to service to a really desire to help change and shift humanity's consciousness and like the evolution from an energetic point of view, if that makes sense. Like that's what's coming to me of how to word it. But yet at the same point, we have this like homesick feeling of like feeling lost, but it's through that energy and that quote unquote obstacle placed in our reality that we actually find a home within ourselves. And anyone that spends a little time with me realizes like that's big for me is returning home to you, creating your own safety within you so you can set yourself free and be a fully expressed version, because that's the point, is not we're a starseed, we need to escape Earth. It's to remember, yes, we have starseed essence in us, and we're here to live a human experience and embody that and ground our frequency into this Earth to create the shifts that we came for.
Mm. Yeah. I totally resonate with that. And I was definitely picking up on that thought and frequency as far as, we're all star seeds. And it's more so about like who at certain different points in time that seed starts to
Mhm.
sprout, right? But a lot of the times, like throughout our life, depending on our chosen time of like what maybe we decide or depending on what's happening in our lives, that seed gets activated or stimulated, and then it starts to sprout, as I mentioned. But sometimes it might just be a little bit dormant or more in that
Mhm.
germination process. So everyone's kind of on their own time frame, but at the end of the day, we're all star seeds. And so, as I'm sure those of you watching know what we're talking about today, the Starseed Calling. And we're just going to talk about the signs that our galactic soul family is trying to get a hold of us. So, Jackie, you want to add a little bit more? My cat is acting
Yes.
again.
I like also energetically you felt me in that it's also like that remembering that there's not one path. Like Urania and I were just talking about this deeply this morning and yesterday. Like I think that's the thing is like yes, we all have this essence, but not everybody is desiring or called on one certain pathway, right? You can call it many different labels and it's like not making one path wrong or right. It's not about that. It's going what is working for me in this moment? And you know what? Maybe I'm walking this part of the path because this is the call I feel, and not making it bad or shaming yourself or feeling guilty to go, hey, I'm actually feeling called to go this way a little bit. And now I'm going to go this way. Like that's the thing is when you're in connection with yourself and you get to know yourself in that and allow yourself to open some of those pieces and make peace with some of the conditioning and all of that where you can say, hey, is that actually me? Or is that the energy and environment around me giving me an opportunity to see myself in a different light? And I'm making a choice. Like there is no right or wrong in that space. It's coming home and being your own internal compass and going, hey, I'm gonna stumble. If I'm paving my own path, if thinking hiking, like I'm going off trail, I'm gonna have to move some things around. I might scrape my knee on a plant or a rock, like what miss my footing. Like that's part of the journey, I think, and that gets bypassed. Like we're gonna have our stumbling points. That doesn't mean that we're on the wrong path or there's something wrong with us. It's going, hey, I get a moment where this is like the world saying, pause, breathe, recalibrate. Is this still where we want to go? And not go no because I'm afraid of getting hurt. It's going, okay, I feel that fear, but yet my heart is still pulling this way. My soul is still leading me this direction. How can I get creative and sit and not have to force myself? Is going, okay, maybe I'm just being called to pause here a minute and recalibrate and figuring out like where's my truth and where can I quiet the noise of the world and tune back in and connect to myself and then take the next step. I don't need to worry about 25 steps down the road. Where's my next step? Where's my next placement? Where I'm going to put my hand? Where am I going to put my foot? Where am I going to anchor in this present moment?
Yeah. And just like considering there's so many different paths to essentially like your spiritual awakening, the Starseed Calling is very similar to what you might experience when people refer to ascension symptoms or essentially, an activation, spiritual awakening. All of those signs pretty much are similar, and we'll share some of those as we chat here. But the biggest thing I would say that would separate, like if you chose to separate Starseed from, say, just like a regular spiritual awakening, would be this very strong longing for like somewhere else other than like Earth specifically. And this is something that has happened for me, recently in the past couple of years. Um, and I've always like I would say this is a part of my greater second spiritual awakening in some ways. But I've come across starseed stuff like here and there all the time, and I've been attracted to it. I was even during the pandemic, I was doing a starseed masterclass series with a big group of people, and it was amazing, but I never really like it didn't really sink in as like starseed, even though I knew I was and I felt a connection. But it wasn't until like a year or so ago I was feeling like I just, with everything going on in the world, I was just so disgusted. I mean, I still am disgusted. But also I felt even more deeply that my purpose, the way I live my life, the things that I share, just who I be, was not resonating with this existence. It wasn't resonating with the people I connect with, yes, but on a greater scale, I'm like, I'm living in this bubble, and this is just, it's really hard to, at that time, it was really hard to live in this physical construct, the society that we've created at this time. And I was having a really hard time, and I felt a little bit more disconnected from my purpose. I definitely was feeling depressed and just kind of like who cares type energy, very like apathetic, not like intensely, but I was definitely like, who cares? Why do I need to show up? I'm doing all of this stuff on my own, and it still lit me up. But the like that feeling of like, oh, my purpose is to connect and share and to create these communities and participate and, make these connections. And I was just like, who cares? Like, I'm just going to keep it all to myself, basically. I'm just going to play in my own world and like, figure it out. But at the same time I was having that experience, I started really listening to Bashar. And I think once I like fully listened to Bashar, because I had again seen Bashar, seen videos, clips, friends would send me, or they would just randomly pop up on my like social media. But then there was one in particular about divine purpose. And I like, it was a longer one and I watched it and something clicked. And it was like, that was kind of like my pull
Catalyst.
into the Starseed, like all of like the extraterrestrials and like just the cosmic connection or our cosmic origins and how that is here to serve us as we did choose. We are meant to be here as humans on Earth in this existence. So it helped to anchor in my sense of belonging.
Yeah, it, like literally the image that I got is like almost like a vibration. It was that little catalyst appointment that all of the webs were there, all the dots were there. It was like, let me pluck the string and you can actually then feel and see within you, right? All of
Mm-hmm.
these connections that have literally the energy has been there. And like for me, like with that, like is remembering like you have this magnetic pull. Like I've always been attracted to the stars and in this space and feeling like I'm not belonging. And like I would like fantasize. I was really good at imaginary play and I was really good at writing different like stories and things because I could. This is just like my innate like connecting with fairies, and I would always write about the fairy world and all like I even before I could write, I would literally be like recording and walking through, and I was in this like Jackie's head's always in the stars, right? But I also had this such grounding purpose at the same time. Literally, one of my really good friends, when I first met her, she's never heard of me before. We were in a group of collaboration doing somebody brought us together and we were doing like a gratitude like 28 days of gratitude or whatever and we were just doing this free event to help step into that energy. I think it was around Thanksgiving time several years ago. And she's like, you recorded the message and I noticed in my body I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's one of those bubbly girls, isn't she?" Like I don't know if I can handle this or whatever. And she's like, I instantly like profiled you and put you in this bubble. But the more you talked, the more I realized like you're so expansive and bubbly, yet you're so grounded. Like you can go in these like deep thought, like concepts, yet you can bring it down into the tangible. And she's like, it's just like nothing I've ever experienced before. But I think that that's part of the thing is like we have this expansive view and openness, but when we anchor, like our whole point is to anchor that frequency, that creativity, that love into the earth, right? And to help, like we came here not only in like a longing of like, I don't feel like I'm different, I don't feel like I fit in, but it's because we came here like that on purpose because we are changing the way things are operating, right? We're stirring things up. And that's going to be ruffling some people's feathers. We're not always going to be liked, which can rock us at our core too and going, okay, well, where do I belong? Like they always say I have a village.
Yeah.
Like, but anytime I try to find my village, like I don't feel like I fit and something comes through and I'm like, Jackie, this because you're building your own village. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's like part of like my mission is like to bring and why I'm so passionate about this type of stuff. What we do is like, I want a space where all of you is welcome. Your evolution is welcome. We are going to have different ideas and expansion in different processes, and that's beautiful, and that's what actually makes life life. Because if we agreed on everything, how are we stretching and growing ourselves? Like how can we like it's in those conflict moments, in those disagreement moments where we can hold love and compassion and like shift our view and going, let me try that on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that doesn't necessarily resonate with me, but I'm happy that you're able to find a different space. And if you're willing to be open enough just to listen to my story too, we grew in there just not because we changed our minds, right? It's we created space for something else before besides our narrow view. And I think that that is so much needed in the world right now. And back to like the starseed calling aspect, it is very, very similar to soul awakening and things like that because it's the same essence, it's just a specialized form, right? It's like I came in here to really help activate that part, to really speak to those type of people as well. Like, you know what I mean? People that can resonate with that and help them see like there's many different layers to us, right? And it doesn't mean like I can only teach about star seeds. I can like I went through my life thinking like I had to have one little narrow box to sit into. And I never fit in that box. Like I try it on, be like, this is what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a doctor and I'm gonna fit in this little bubble and life is gonna be so perfect because I fit in this bubble now and I found where I belong. And every mile marker I was successful at it, don't get me wrong. I get to a certain point and going, this box really doesn't feel very good. It's kind of tight. I don't know if can really feel like I can breathe and be me in it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just need to upgrade to that box over there. And then I realized like every time I was like, something's missing, something's missing. Well, me is missing, and I realized that I'm not meant to be put in a freaking box. As much as like no one forced me in the box. They're very good at saying like this, look at this box, it's going to provide all of these things. And I'm like, hook, line, and sinker. That sounds like good. And it resonated in my passion and my care of, I think that's also part of like a starseed aspect. I mean, there's so many different starseeds. So we're all in different missions. But for me, especially that heart and connection and wanting to help humanity in a different way. Like for me, like from a young child, I knew that I wanted to help people not hurt. Like if you asked me as a little girl, like 2-year-old version of me, like that's what I wanted. Like I didn't know what a doctor was. I just didn't want to see people in pain if they didn't have to be in pain.
Mm-hmm.
And like my concept of that was very small at those ages, but the more I realized, like little me knew exactly what I wanted to do in a certain point. Like I already knew within me. It was then trying to force myself in certain containers. And I needed that though, to figure out, hey, I'm not belonging over here, but I can take this beautiful wisdom that I gained from this experience and this to create the person sitting in front of you, right? I have all those different skill sets. That's why no one could be just like me, because I can take and bridge those different worlds and speak the different quote unquote languages to meet you where you're at. Because I think that's super important, is to be able to meet you where you're at in that. And so it's like there's like 3 stages of awakening to, hey, there's a different perspective, and recognizing like there's this multi-dimensional nature to life and ourselves, right? We're not one-sided. And then there's like this next layer of call of action of like, I want to help, I want to serve, I want to be uniquely me. And I don't even know what that is yet, but I have this desire inside of me to figure it out and like not have to do what I'm told, so to say, but bring my essence and what makes me special and how can I truly help. And then like the next stage, like I say, is like the coming back home, like coming back home and returning into that space of like, when I can anchor into me, I actually can be in better service, because I can then unlock, like when I dance with the shadows, like I always say, like the shadows actually hold our greatest gifts, right? So then we sit there and we create the alchemy, and alchemy is turning the ordinary to a treasure, right? That's why it's a very important word to me, and it will always be that, because that's what we do in life. It's literally the soul return in shamanism. It's like reclaiming our parts and bringing them back home so we can come back into our wholeness. That's healing. Wholeness. We're already whole. It's like we just strategically place these pieces of us and gave our power, like Urania, hold this for me in this lifetime until I'm ready to kind of be in the situation going, okay, yes, the situation may suck, but I'm ready to take this back and let's go together. Like that's what we literally said. You take a part of me, I'll take a part of you. Life is gonna life, and we're gonna find our way to each other. So then we can give this back to each other and activate us for our next page. Like I know that seems like very like out there, but like I'm trying to give it into a tangible point of view, but I feel like that's also part of the calling, right? It's not just outside of us in the stars. Yes, we'll get those pieces, but it's the people every day in our life too. Whether it is a push of like, oh, okay, I actually am not aligned with this thought process, which maybe in the past I would have been, and I'm seeing things differently. Or it's, hey, I really resonate with what they're saying, and I don't really know her, but I feel this call and draw that to want to have more conversations and get to know her. Like in those spaces, like we have those opportunities, and it's been like dribbled out through life. Like you were saying, like you loved Star Files, X Files when you're younger, and all of these things. Like there was little signs But
Mm-hmm.
when we're in it, we can't really see it until we look back. That's why they say hindsight's 2020 is you're like, I see the messages that were little nuggets dropped along the way. And for me, it's like, and if this is your call, like open up and just see what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's not you're signing your life away.
Mm-hmm.
Just see what's there for you in the invitation. And if it doesn't feel aligned, it's okay to part paths and go a different way.
It might
You
even
don't,
come back around, like,
yeah.
later. Like, you never know. And it'll if it's meant to be at the end of the day, it will be. And like one of the things that for me, I always like, I love signs, I love symbols. I don't, I guess I would say I actively look for them, but I just remain open and aware. And I start to pay attention to patterns. And so, again, that's one of the things that when you're experiencing that starseed calling and when it's really like coming to like, it's growing within you and that seed is beginning to sprout and wanting to open up and expand your life and your path, you will start to see those messages get louder and louder until they're pretty much right in your face, right? And it could be, for me, it wasn't even just Bashar and those teachings, which are very, very practical for my, I didn't even realize he was channeling an extraterrestrial until I like watched a few of his videos. And so very, very grounded, like mentor there in reference, like for me personally, and in reference to starseed material. But even just the word starseed, I was working for a spiritual app for a little bit, and we had our like different trainings, and they had on the app different categories that people like they could take their quiz and they would, it would label you or connect you with some sort of spiritual label, whether it's a witch or starseed or whatever. And so I'm like taking these tutorials. And for me, like the star seed was literally one that kept like pinging me. And I was like, okay, like I really feel this because, like what you said, Jackie, I was also like feeling a bit like restricted in some ways, just having that label of astrologer, because I knew that I was more than an astrologer. Like I have so many different practices and just many different modalities that I utilize. And it just like I was seen and known as an astrologer, but I felt everything within me wanting to expand and move beyond that. And so, but then that was also a really intense experience because I felt like I was losing a part of myself. Like I didn't want to let go of that. But then it was just like, so I was having this kind of like identity crisis. And I even like, it was in the time period too where I changed my name. So I was like, navigating that transition. And anyway, yeah, I just didn't feel like I belonged in so many ways. And it wasn't until like I really started like following those signs even more and just like expanding my understanding or connection with starseed or with the cosmic energy, like, and paying attention how you said, Jackie, there was so many different little nuggets, the starseed masterclass, really liking X-Files, going to college for astronomy and physics, and it just like all of these different perspectives were opening me up and connecting me with like my cosmic or galactic connection, right? That we all have it. Some of us might want to dive deep into it and explore it, some may not, right? This isn't for everybody, essentially. But nonetheless, paying attention to the signs, the mentors, the guides. Maybe you feel really attracted to Pleiadians. Maybe you feel like just like the nature of like what they look like, or Syrians and so forth. Maybe you feel really
Lane.
connected to that, right? And just have fun. Don't make it a big deal. Dive into it a little bit, see what comes forth, and really what's important or what might be helpful and ways to engage with the connection is like through that discovery, right? Of just seeing what's there and, maybe going deeper with a specific group or a thing, and then paying attention to how it shows up for you, like what those signs really activate. Is it something that you're feeling within your body, or does it like activate this inner knowing where you're just like, you see star seed and it's just like, okay, I know that I like there's a connection there. Like, is there inner knowing or inner thoughts, right? So with the starseed calling, like a spiritual awakening, you're also going to start experiencing these activations of your psychic senses, your energetic, sensing.
Everything will be heightened. And
Yeah.
it's not like what we really wanted to express here. It's not always the same for everybody. Like you have many different senses, right? So like you can have an inner knowing, you can start seeing signs more, you can start hearing like maybe certain music comes through and it's just really drawing your attention to certain words. Like there's many different ways of connection that the calling can drop in. And it's these little nuggets of remembrance that gets like put in there, and are you going to answer them and pay attention to them? And if you don't, that's okay, they'll come back around. It's not like, oh my gosh, you missed it and then now you're off the bus, you know what I mean? Like it will come back. But I think that that's like key things for a starseed calling is like feeling like that outsider almost in life, not fitting in. Heightened, you tend to be extremely empathic or sensitive to the energies of the world, and you have this desire to like almost disrupt the old, like this, like you already innately know, hey, this isn't working. And even when we try to like, but I'm still doing it and we're going through autopilot, and but you have this like in your gut going, I don't know why I'm doing this, like I feel like I'm settling and there's more. Like that is all very characteristic of the starseed activation and calling, because we are meant to shift and change the way humanity is operating right now. And that doesn't mean in a big crazy way. It can be subtle ways, but the more we become us, and that's the thing is like starseeds, the big message is not for us to escape. It's to help us anchor our frequencies, our differences, like energetically into the world, and allow ourselves to stand in our own differences and embody that. Like I'm trying to figure out like the words. It's like to take like the energy of chaos is raw creative energy, right? And like instead of letting it spin me off root and almost feel like a tree tipping over, it's like, how can I actually root deeper into me? So then no matter what life storm happens, like I can still be a beacon. And if you know trees, they talk to each other, right? Their root systems actually talk and communicate. It's like, how can I remind myself to root deep and expand wide? And just allow myself to shine and shimmer and have know that I just like a tree has a cycles of life, like right, there's seasons. There might be days where I feel a little more bare, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. That's the cycles of life and nature and how it goes, and it's like weathering those storms is
Mhm.
what comes through.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when you really make I guess, a devotion, or like you commit to learning more about yourself, like it'll naturally come into being. And I think that was a part of my journey, and I'm sure most people, but in that experience, I was literally integrating a, a past aspect of myself with this like new aspect, but it's not new, but basically who I am at this point. Like all of that was in integration. All of that was basically I was deepening the connection to myself. And as I got into deeper into that connection, that's when I started making that connection for myself with my cosmic origins. And yeah, I think that just naturally happens. I think that the timing is always divine. And I think on some levels, we choose the timing in some ways. Like I would say, I don't know if it's just because of the nature of my journey. I'm sure it's a little bit of this. And also what's happening in the collective right now, how there is like a major
Energies.
awakening and we are shifting, density and frequencies here as a whole. And so everyone in some ways is experiencing their own spiritual activation and evolution, and some of us are being called, now is a time to like really, like, this is what you've been waiting for, this is the time to show up. And we have waves of that where there are people who are waking up to just like, oh, there's tarot, or like my dreams do mean something, or I can really start to connect more deeper with my intuition and my inner knowing, right? And so everyone's kind of being turned on, so it's a matter of your own kind of like destiny clock and what time you basically chose to have this experience, or to like awaken to your deeper gifts and your purpose here. So I think something that, or not I think, but Jackie and I have, when in every single video we've talked about how this is not like the point of escaping, right? Like a lot of us are like, again, that feeling of like, I don't belong here. I am like from another place. Yes, but you also chose to come here. And this is the whole point. Like being a human, we do have a mission. It's in connection to our cosmic connection, our galactic origins, but we're here on earth for a reason. And this is why I love Bashar. Bashar speaks on this all the time because of course a lot of people come to him about this feeling of not belonging. And he was like, if you were not meant to be here, you wouldn't be here. He was like, he's literally told people, lay on the ground right now, close your eyes, say that you're ready to go, count down from like 10 to 0 or whatever. If you can open your eyes after that, you're meant to be here. It's not your time. It should be that easy to leave,
Mhm.
right? So if you're here, you're meant to be here, right? And that's a part of this experience here on earth, is the remembering and is that healing aspect, and really coming back into like your divine essence, or reclaiming that and helping, others do the same. But through that experience is where we're really healing, these like karmic energies, or these energetic wounds, right, that we've had in other places, right? And so I feel, just from my understanding, being here on earth is a part of that. A part of being human is healing these different aspects that we have experienced. And earth is like, for whatever reason, for many reasons, is the place where that healing is really profound, but the experience is incredibly challenging, and it really takes
We
strong
have human
faith.
emotion and the spectrum, like
Right. And
of
just the forgetting. Yeah. So it's a whole thing. But through that experience, you have the greatest healing and expansion. And so I have goosebumps right now.
yeah,
But
that's
we're
how we evolve and we become a deeper essence, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that there's also a misunderstanding sometimes about mission. And I have a purpose and it's only this one mission. And if I can't find this mission, then I failed. I want you to kind of take a minute and like connect back in and really remind yourself the mission is to be you. However that expresses and moves, like that's the mission. The mission is to embody you. And that's going to look different at every stage of your journey. It's not something to chase a destination. You're living it and breathing it right now. There's a reason why we came through. And yes, like some things are going to feel heavier and it's going to feel challenging at times. But it's like, it's literally the remembrance of like, okay, these are the cards that I get. And I gave this example to Urania before. Like, here's the deck of cards I got. I can wish and dream and hope for greener grasses, right? Like I wish I had a royal flush right here, and you can wish, 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 or you can go, okay, these are the cards I got. How can I make the best out of what I have here? And knowing that this is also temporary, like, and life will give me new cards as I go through, and I just embrace and allow myself to stay with right here versus trying to escape what's in front of me. And not only that is like there's certain points in life like we remember, hey, I never even like no one ever like set the rules of this game. I just am we're just assuming that this is how we're supposed to play. Like what if I just all of a sudden decided, hey, these cards don't have to be in whatever order, whatever that I think like my mind thought I was gonna do and everybody's kind of going. I could sit here and go, actually, I'm gonna build a house of cards over here. And that's fine too. Like we're still utilizing the same gifts and tools and essences. There's no one right, wrong, or way. It's just us being us and giving ourselves permission to follow those internal nudges. And I'm not saying like there is aspects of us, but there's no how do I put this in words? I think you know where I'm going with this. Like our shadow aspects and like there's no bad part of us. Misunderstood parts,
Mm-hmm.
conditioned parts, but there's no bad parts of us. We are essence of love at the core. There is defense mechanisms and conditioning and different things, and it's a lot of it is rooted in somebody else trying to tell us or what we think we need to be for somebody else versus us. And so like the key mission is to slowly understand ourselves more. And I think that that's what I'm passionate about more than anything, because that's actually what unroots and turns that pain to purpose is when you understand yourself from many different lenses. So if you look back at a snapshot of my life, I've literally any angle I can to understand the human experience, the human body, the human brain, like emotions, energy, all of it. I am like, my heart is wide open and like, let me know, like, let me understand, let me see it from a different point of view. Because for me, it's like, once I can see the different angles, I can go, okay, what makes sense for me? Even if it's something like way out there where I'm like, huh. But I look at it like almost like a little kid with a fairy tale.
Mhm.
Let me just use my imagination, try this on, see this different angles. Nope, it doesn't quite fit, but it might for somebody. But it's just not part of this chapter. That's okay. But I at least gave it a open mind, open heart aspect to kind of look at it, see it, try it on from that angle. And then there's some things like if I didn't allow myself to, ooh, that's scary. I don't know. And I get this like trigger like pushback. Like when I first introduced Gene Keys to Urania, she's like,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got so much resistance to this.
Well, and I think about it now too. If I was just like, you know what? No, this is too much, and just exited the group, that was on this Gene Key journey together. But it kind of scares me if I would have done that because I've gotten so much help and guidance through understanding my Gene Keys. And like you and I are so connected because I was literally just thinking about that, where it's like, if you feel like some sort of strong emotion, whether it's like, I'm super excited or like, oh no, oh my goodness, like, I don't want to touch that, like, explore that a little bit
There's
more
something there.
on either end of the spectrum because it'll give you a deeper understanding of what truly aligns with you and what doesn't, right? Because Jackie and I, we listen to, I'm not even going to get into it, but last night we were listening to something like we already kind of knew that it was like not in alignment with our like
Viewpoint.
core and our truth, who we are. But we listened to it because it was recommended to Jackie and she shared it with me. And we both listened to it because I do like to open my mind. I do like to hear another perspective, even if it's on the extreme, just to see, just to check my own, like, see where I'm at. Like, because maybe there'll be something that like comes to light and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then there's expansion.
Stretch.
Doesn't mean I have to get rid of, my initial perspective. It's
Not
just something
scrapping the old, it's integrating the old with the new.
yeah, and it expands. But this one, it was, yeah, it was like, all right, I listened. It definitely doesn't align, and you'll really know the more you get to know yourself. You'll know what aligns and what doesn't. And so even if it's scary, even if it's something that it's like gives you the ick, like, I mean, also I feel like you can kind of tell if you're
Mhm.
curious and it still like gives you the
Where's
ick.
your mind? Don't close her off.
Yeah.
Don't put defenses. Like I was telling Urania, like sometimes it was really hard for me to just go, "What are you talking about?" And then
Mhm.
I'm like, no, Jackie, soften, like put yourself, like try to understand. And I could see like the layers of truth. It's almost like I could see from my own understanding, and it's their truth. I want to clarify that. There's no like, it was their truth. It's not saying that it's wrong and I'm right. Like that was not the thing. It's like I truly believe in listening to those things so I can see different perspectives,
Mhm.
the
See what's
good, the
up.
bad, the ugly, whatever you want to label it. Like I want to see like that's one of my desires is like humanity. I want to kind of understand where people are coming from. And if I don't, like I want to spend more time kind of in that, not that I'm converting myself, it's to really hold compassion and grace and see it from a different, like see the world through their eyes, even if I don't necessarily agree, but to
Mhm.
make sense like of the process because I believe that there in every action there's some motivation, like there's
Mhm.
something that makes it, and a lot of times it's like you do feel like it's just or right or whatever. Not that it is necessarily in the global aspect, but there
Mhm.
is some truth within there that they were holding on to take whatever emotion or
Yeah.
whatever direction they went. And I'm sitting here and like that was the part of the conversation and that I told Urania, I said, it's not that I want to say she's wrong, but there's certain things like you do you, boo, like always. But like when you say what you're doing is bad and evil because it's not matching what I'm doing and I don't understand it and I'm going to pretend that I'm an expert of something I'm not, like that's what hurts my heart because then you are dispowering somebody else and
Mhm.
that might be something that's really serving them and waking them up, but once again we're shoving them down. And why can't there be space of if that works for you, awesome. Like for me, I see this and like this is what actually is true. Like honestly, that whole episode, I was like, these things are triggering you. Actually, there's an invitation for you to kind of see what else is there versus condemning and judging. in that space of going, huh, what's there? And not everything resonates. And you can say that, but you don't have to say just because it doesn't resonate with me that you
Right.
can't do it or you shouldn't do that
Yeah,
either. Like
absolutely.
I think that's a very important remembrance for everybody is like we're all on our own journeys and there's no good, bad, whatever. Like there's no judgment. It's just this is my reality of where I'm operating and what works for me and what doesn't. That doesn't mean that you have to be exactly like me because you have different circumstances. You came from different pathways. You have different remembrances in there, and that's actually beautiful. And we can grow from each other if we allow ourselves to lead with a heart and, like, you know what I mean, and allow ourselves to be open to understanding and not so narrow-minded of this is the only way. We miss out on the beauty of life, the diversity of life.
And that just goes back to that feeling of not belonging, or just the whole topic around belonging, because it's like,
Misunderstood.
as humans, we are social creatures and we want to come into community. We want to come together. And that's a part of the experience on earth too, is the experience of separation and a experience of integration or coming together in union. And so it's like when we do, come across these other different perspectives or groups that, say that this is the one true way. And if you aren't in alignment with this, then you're wrong and you're bad. Like that, we're breaking free of that. We're breaking through that. And when you, again, really get to know yourself, you will be able to recognize like the pain points in other people's perspective or what they're sharing, especially when it feels disempowering. So you realize when you're starting to contract, and even if you're starting to contract, that doesn't even necessarily mean that, say, it's not aligned for you, but there's something there when you're having some sort of like physiological response or emotion and so forth. And so there's always space to explore any of that. But I think that a part of this starseed journey, even I know for myself, and I'm still kind of experiencing this, where it's like, okay, this is really fringe. Like this is still kind of on like the outskirts of, say, like the spiritual community. And I have kind of like a dynamic when it comes to sharing about this. And at the end of the day, I'm still here, right? We're live right now, so I'm still sharing it. But I do experience that feeling of like all parts of me don't belong here, or like, just the thought of that, where it's like, okay, people get
Judge, like,
astrologer, yeah, but it's like, yeah, I even have astrologer friends where I'm just like, I can kind of feel the energy, or the energetic looks like, oh wow, she's like really, really going out there. And
well, and
so,
it's that rejection wound too, right? Like that's one of
yeah.
the primary human wounds is going, okay, well, what about if I be more of me and I follow this and I get rejected for being me? And like it's like a deep like and like that's the identity piece of like when we tie our identity into things and we don't allow ourselves, it's a fixed identity versus allowing yourself to evolve. That's when you have those identity crises and things like that, is because you can't separate the part from the whole. Like,
Mhm.
and that's another thing when I look at these, like that episode that what we were talking about earlier, like I remember and I can hold compassion because I am a part of that whole. Like that's still a part of like everything. And like that's why I choose to look at the world with compassion. Even the people that are very malicious to me. I try to meet non-love with love. It's not
Mhm.
always easy.
Yeah.
I have human experiences and I got to navigate that through, but that is my conscious choice of that's my desire at the end of the day. Is no matter what is thrown at me is to meet love with non-love with love always.
Mm.
Because I also know that they have a story, they have a story and a process and in space. And so if fear is talking or shame is talking or whatever, like I can see and feel the undercurrents. I always could.
Mhm.
And it's like, how can I hold compassion for that and hold compassion for myself too and see myself because everything's a mirror. And like, especially in that episode, it's like I was part of that world at one point. Like that's like I can relate to that. And like that's part of my heart, like hurt. But then at the same point, it's like, but that if that's their journey, that's their journey. And I get to make peace with that. And really that it activated, and Urania knows how deep this is. So I'll see how far my emotions want to take me in that the pattern of I don't have to save the world. I don't have to save the people I love. I get to be me. And that will activate, and everybody gets to make their own choices. And that's been shown to me over and over again in very challenging ways of remembering that truth.
Mm,
Like at the end of the day, it's everybody's journey, and it's not for me to take their pen and write their story. It's not to write the story in my way because I think that this is the safe way. Like when I literally had this conversation with my teenager, like there's many a times in life where I'm like, I see the safer path and this is what I want for you. And I have to remember, just because I show you this path, you have a free will, you have a choice. If you want to take the more challenging path, if you want to wrestle with the alligators of life, it's your life to live. And I've given you the foundation and the tools. That's what I'm supposed to do as a parent. I'm not supposed to control and dictate your life. You've got to get messy. You've got to see your things and know that I'm always here to help you navigate through. But right now, you're in a stage where you're about to explore the world on your own. You're not by yourself, but you know what I mean? That like as an adult, like he's going off to college. And like that was the big thing is like I had to release that mommy role to say, not that he doesn't need me. And it brought a whole nother layer of when my mom, who passed away from cancer in 2020, like she would say that. She goes, I don't have a purpose anymore. Like my kids are all grown up, they don't need me. Like, and I would try to express, but not until like this moment did it really click me as like, Mom, I will always need you, just in a different way. You think that this is the only way to be needed and valued. There's many a times where I told him, I said, there's going to be a point in life, like I'm not perfect. I'm trying to do something completely different than I've ever experienced because this is the way I want to parent. And I'm like, you don't come with the rule book and everybody is like different. Like so I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to fall. I said, and there's going to be points where you may go into your childhood and decide that you want to or your adulthood and parent your children completely different. And I'm okay with that because it's your story. It's your way of doing it. But there's moments I guarantee that you're going to want to pick up the phone and go, Mom, how the flip did you navigate this? Like, this is not enjoyable. What do I do in this space? Because I go, I wish heaven could take phone calls because there's many a times where I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I was like this sometimes. Like, I get it. And like I know that you meant love and everything that you did and you were doing the best that you could in the situation, but parenting is not for the faint of heart. And there's no like there's always like different things. Like you can choose this way, but then there's like all these different things that open up, and like there is no one right way. And I think that that's like the crash course for life because there is no one, like no matter what, there's different consequences and ripple effects no matter what choice you make. And I think it's activating within me to surrender to life and allow it to flow without having to control and let my anxiety go, hey, put down the clipboard, honey, and just be in the moment. Can we laugh at the how we're taking life so seriously and no matter what we have the best intentions and stuff still falls apart and it's okay. We're still here. We're still together. We may be a little bruised up, but we can sit here and like be salty or we can go, okay, well that hurt. Well, let's see what else we can do now. Where can we mend and repair from the situation and move forward? And I think it's a lot more freeing when you can look at life that way.
mm. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Just being playful, like with this whole experience, with the whole journey, being on Earth, and also it could be as specific as the Starseed
Mhm.
exploration. There are quite a few of you here live, so we would love to hear if you have any questions. There's definitely a lot going on in the chat, so that's exciting. Thank you so
Love it.
much for showing us love and being part of this conversation. Um, yeah, so I think if you're feeling the Starseed Calling, and you feel grounded, because I feel like that's the biggest thing too, is like you want to really also, in the act of, speaking of grounding, I just saw a groundhog right across my yard. um but yeah, if you are wanting to approach this, be like having um just a grounded foundation for yourself is important. Anchoring in your body in whatever way you can, like grounding yourself to this reality is going to be important, but have fun with it. Like just explore and see what comes up. Like maybe you feel attracted to a specific galactic group. Like see what there is online, or see what, I mean, there's there's not really a lot of books. I will say, I have one right here. The Prism of Lyra is a really good book. It's only like 111 pages, and it gives like a good overview of the different groups and coming home to ourselves, the integration piece. Uh, yeah, I mean it's very concise, and it's just really fun to read.
Mhm.
So just have fun with it, I would say. And it could be as simple as just saying that I'm open to making this connection. If you feel really drawn to star seeds and you really want to connect and get to know your starseed family more deeply, just put the ask out there, using your voice,
Mhm.
writing it down, meditating if you like to, but the simple request will definitely open up those channels for you. And then again, paying attention to the signs that come through, paying attention to where or how you're receiving the messages, again, whether it's through like body sensations, through emotions, through inner knowing, through visions and dreams. Through words and whatnot, just really paying attention to how you receive, and then just have fun exploring those different, experiences.
100%. And for those that are really feeling called and not knowing where and want support in that, that's why Urania and I created the Starseed activation journey. And you like literally like segue to that. And like for both of us, we're always like we're awkward on sharing that, but it's so important. And so this is not a salesy agenda, whatever. It's a beautiful invitation because we created this space for what we navigated, that we were like, how could we do this so that people had support, that they didn't feel alone in this process, and how can we help them ground and get them set up with the best foundation as they're navigating this chapter and opening this part of themselves up in a safe, loving, held space in that where they can ground so they don't feel off kilter. Because sometimes when you activate and you don't have that grounding, you can feel kind of like you're floating around and you're like, I don't know. And it can be very overwhelming. It's through that grounding space and that support and held, and having somebody that isn't going to look at you like you're going crazy, where you're like, this is what's going on. Like, I don't even know if I've never said this out loud, but like, I just want to share that part. Like, that is what this space is for. It's welcoming of all the different pieces, and not saying like, a space where you can actually express and not just keep it to yourself. And as you navigate, and you can actually then get reflection points where there's many a times where Uranian and I is like, hey, you said this, but you know what came to me on that point? Like, try this on, because this is the download that I'm getting around that. Does that resonate with you? Like, it seems like your starseed family is saying this in that space. Once again, it's just like trying on outfits. Like, when I don't get attached to things I say, like it's like I get this download to share, and you can try the shirt on. If it doesn't fit right, or doesn't fit, like, put it back on the shelf. Like let it go. Like, it's not here or there. It's not anything personal. It's me sharing. I mean, it is personal experience, you know what I mean? But it's not going to, I'm not going to be wounded in the, hey, that doesn't really fit. Like, I want you to say that. I say that even with my other clients, my one-on-one clients. I was like, if we're doing a process and it's not really resonating, I need you to use your voice and say, hey, this isn't really resonating, because I have so many different avenues we can go. But I can't go there if I don't know what is landing and what is feeling called. So we get to play. We get to play and say, hey, this part of the sandbox, we're going to do this. And hey, actually, do we have like these like textures, or can we add water over here? Like, we won't know that until we open up and get creative and curious and express, like, hey, I want to try something different. And that's what it is. And that's why this space, we were trying to bring all of the foundations and different, honoring the different ways that people connect, right? In seeing the world differently.
Yeah. And so, yeah, the Starseed activation journey is going to be incredible. It's literally 12 weeks. And we begin the journey with sharing our perspective of your starseed origin. So I will look at the astrology, and Jackie will look at the Akashic record. And that's kind of how we help you to start to open up that connection. And also, it's really important of what resonates with you. So if there's like a galactic soul family that you feel connection with, the journey will also help you, in addition to like what we share, help you to really expand that connection and to really just start to like refine your perspective and your connection with your soul family, right? So all of that will integrate with itself, the grounding aspect of it, the embodiment, the opening of your energetic and psychic channels. Like we really touch on all of these different important parts of the journey within the 12 weeks. So I did put the link in the chat if you want to check out the webpage on that. Also, if you're watching the replay, the chat will still be available, but I will also put the link in the description of this video. We also have a playlist on Starseeds. It's titled Starseeds here on my channel, but we have 7 videos on the
The different groups.
Starseed series. So it's the Starseed races. We also have 3 videos on the 3 phases of the Starseed activation, what you can expect like through the journey. Do we have anything else in there? And then our previous lives, but we have more
Yep.
coming.
Yes,
So
and we are going to talk a little bit more about Starseed Calling, and like it's just going to get
to
juicier
go,
and juicier as life goes through.
yeah. So definitely subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And like the video if you enjoy this, because we're doing these lives once a month. So we will be here again to talk more about this. But yeah, thanks for so much for being here, everyone. And we will see you in 4 weeks next month. Take care.